go to the next PowerPoint. I decided to do my speech today on the situation that's going on with bullying. And well, I wanted to start out with a fact. 1,600 children, 160,000 children every day miss school due to the fear of being bullied. And that is a shame, because kids should be able to go to school every day and learn what they need to learn and not have to worry about being bothered by bullies. I feel strongly that parents need to take affirmative action to stop the bullying epidemic that's going on. It does not need to be ignored. Teachers also need to step in, and other adults, whenever they realize that things are going on with children and that children are being bullied. A lot of bullied students now, it's getting to the point where they've had enough and they're, resorting to violence. According to Dear Bully, a book that I read, Marina Cohen was a girl that was being bullied, and she ended up slapping her bully because she had just got tired of dealing with it. It got to be too much for her. The feelings that she had were overwhelming for her. Every day she had to go to school and, face this girl bothering her, and she was a quiet student, and she had just had it. The result of that was that she ended up getting into trouble for that, which was a shame, because she had tried to let the teacher know, I'm being bullied, but the teacher kind of just, swept it under the rug and didn't really know how to, handle the situation. We go to the next one. A lot of times whenever people have been bullied, they end up resorting in extreme violence. With the case of Mr. Chu, the case of Virginia Tech that was back a couple of years back, whenever they really started digging into his background, they realized that he was being bullied. Through college, internet, Facebook, there were a lot of things that were, going on with him. People were telling him that they wished that he would have, killed himself. So it didn't justify what he did, but after he died and they started looking into things, they realized that a lot of the things that were going on with him was that he was bullied. And the thing with his case are adults and other people realized it and knew it and saw what was going on, but they they just ignored it and swept it under the rug. And the outcome were a lot of innocent people losing their lives, as well as as himself. So not only did it affect all of the the students that died in their family, but also his family had to end up dealing with that, because their son was probably one of the most hated people at that time, and at the same time that was still their child. Next one. Go to the next PowerPoint. Another case of somebody being bullied and it not really being taken seriously was a young lady named Megan Myers. She was bullied online. She had a Facebook account, and she thought that she was talking back and forth with a young man named Josh. And after they had talked for a little while, she felt like she really liked him, and he told her that she needed to go and hang herself, and the world would be better off without her. Now her parents also, knew what was going on with her, but they kind of just, this is just, a teenage, something going on, did not take it as seriously. And the result of that is that she ended up hanging herself. And the bad part about that is that it turned out that the gentleman, Josh, was not even a real person. It was an ex-friend that she had. It was her mother who was actually acting as Josh. And, the result was this young lady felt like that she just could not deal with it anymore, and she killed herself. So a lot of times, parents, can play a part in, their child bullying somebody, or, somebody being bullied. If you feel like that's going on with your child, you really do need to, pay that attention. Go to the next one. And this goes back to the thing with the school shootings, and I didn't realize it until looking, at this information, that 12 out of 15 of the school shooting cases that we have had in the past have been, kids that have been bullied. With the Columbine case, they also said that the two gentlemen who did that they were bullied, they were outcasts, and again, they were doing all of these things, planning this, plotting this, and parents were, aware that these things were going on with their kids, but they just did not pay enough attention. And one of the things that stuck out with me also is that they say that about 69% of bullying happens whenever adults are not present or not around. So that's letting you know that parents and teachers really have got to pay attention to be on top of the problem. Next one. Something else that stood out with me is that a lot of kids that have been bullied at home, some of the times directly or indirectly, they've been bullied. All the time, parents don't mean it. Like it could be a dad, telling his son that he needs to toughen up, or a dad saying, don't be a punk. So as parents, we really have to watch, what we say to kids, because kids take a lot of things that we say at heart. And we might feel like we're just being parents and trying to make our kids tough, but in the end, they may go back out to school and take those feelings out on another student, which is not good. Another thing is cyberbullying. It takes where now kids are not just being bullied in the classroom. It's going on Facebook, which makes it even more widespread. So parents, really, especially if you've got the young kids, 12, 13, 14, younger ones, you really need to monitor, what your kids are doing on Facebook. You need to be their friends on there so that you can make sure that they're not being bullied. Just check in with your kids, talk to them, see how things are going, because a lot of times, you hear things. Kids, to be talking to other kids or, saying things to you, you're not really paying any attention, but you can learn a lot, from your kids, because it is a serious problem, and it's not now, it's got to the point where a lot of, kids are dying behind it, and, it really doesn't have to be that way. Also, bullying is, it will also affect you in the long run. A lot of kids that are bullied, are depressed. They don't want to, really deal with other kids. They have self-esteem issues. They're not going to do well in school. So the problem with the bullying is not just, at school and something that's happening right then. This could be something that can follow them, as an adult. It might make them more shy, withdrawn. They might have a lot of problems, bonding, with other students. They may not trust adults because they feel like, adults saw what was going on and, just decided not to do anything, about it. So, with bullying, it's something that really, really needs to be paid attention to, and parents just need to remember, if they have kids, they are probably like the number one deterrent for, for their child being bullied. That was something that I thought about. In some cases, I feel like kind of they should, because I feel like parents kind of know what's going on. Like with the instance, my son is being bullied, and whenever he first came home and he was upset about it, at first I got really, really angry, and I really wanted to, go to the kid and react that way. But I went to the parent first. And, the parent blew me off, oh, it's not my child doesn't do that, da-da-da. And, this child was really, really harassing my son. I took it to, the school. I let, everybody know, did the proper channels. Still nothing. I happened to check my son's book bag, and he had a pair of scissors in his book bag. And when I asked him about it, he said that he had them because he felt like he had to protect himself. Now, if he had gone to school, took them, and something had happened, it would have been a court case. It just, it would have been a lot of stuff. So in a way, I feel like sometimes parents should be legally responsible if you could prove that their child, or that they did know what was going on with their child. Because a lot of times you kind of know what your kids are doing. Not all the time, but you can kind of like get, the gist of it. If they're bullying kids at school, probably a lot of times they're acting out at home. So sometimes parents may not know, but if they do, I do feel like they should be held responsible. And probably a lot of people aren't going to agree with that. My husband's like, no, that's not fair, but adults have to be held, accountable for the things that their kids do. So. I think a lot of times they don't want to have to deal with the parents. They're hoping, and sometimes parents get really upset, but I think sometimes too that they're hoping that the situation will kind of just go away. Sometimes, parents or adults can make it worse by going to kids, because that's just going to cause the kids to be bullied and teased even more. So like with my son, one of the teachers said that she kind of just hoped that the situation would die down. But I think sometimes adults just don't want to bring that heat to themselves in the school. They don't want angry parents with them, because like in my situation, the mom, let the teacher, have it, let me have it. So people just kind of tend to, shy away from it. have always taught my son not to fight, you know, because that's not the answer, to walk away. But, you know, sometimes I think that bullies bully other kids, but then whenever kids actually retaliate, that might kind of calm them down a little bit. So, you know, it's never good to tell your kids to resort to physical action, but sometimes that's, you know, just what you have to do. There was a case of that on the school bus where, you know, a boy tripped kids every single time they came on the bus, you know, laughed at him, but then when they turned around and did it to him, you know, he stopped. So, you know, sometimes you have to do what you have to do. You know, if you've tried everything else and it doesn't work, sometimes you have to kind of like turn the tables, but as a last resort. As a last resort.